My fellow Americans, here's 5 things that the US government is doing to other countries around the world. From Somalia to Somaliland to Somalians in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Trump administration and its annoying little brother, Isn't Real, has attacked the Somali community not just domestically, but abroad as well. ICE is currently harassing the Somalian community in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which resulted in one woman's passing. The Trump administration has also halted assistance to Somalia over claims that food aid for the World Food Program was illegally seized by the government. The Somali government has denied these allegations. In fact, the World Food Program has not made any comments. They have not published any press releases or mentioned any theft of aid in their Somali programs. They did, however, put out press statements stating how a decline in funding has already left millions of vulnerable people starving. The Trump administration's new foreign aid cuts are just going to exacerbate an existing problem. Still, the US government has said that the Trump administration has zero tolerance for waste, theft, and diversion of life-saving assistance. Now, is that why the US burned 500 tons of aid funded by taxpayer dollars? Is that why the Department of War hasn't passed an audit in over 8 years? This is happening at the same time that Isn't Real has decided to recognize Somaliland, a self-declared but unrecognized republic that wants to break away from the country of Somalia. Last week, hundreds of protesters gathered in Mogadishu to denounce Israel's recognition of Somaliland through chants and singing. The demonstrators say that Israel's move threatens Somalia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Somaliland declared independence in 1991, but so far has never previously been recognized by any country. So why is Somalia and Somaliland so important to the United States and Isn't Real? Well, it's at the Horn of Africa. Somaliland is right up there next to Djibouti, very close to where Isn't Real ships have been hit by Hutu separatists in Yemen. Beautiful place, wonderful beaches. Some would even say prime real estate, perfect for a brand new military base. 2 plaques at a World War II memorial for Black soldiers in a Dutch cemetery were removed without the permission of local authorities. An article from Blavity reports that emails seem to confirm that Donald Trump's anti-DEI order is to blame for the removal of these memorial plaques. Dutch media and an independent historian on social media had brought attention to the removal of 2 honorary plaques at the Netherlands American Cemetery in Margareton, a village near the city of Maastricht, Netherlands. The plaques highlighted the contributions of Black U.S. soldiers during World War II. One of the 2 plaques discussed the segregated conditions of the U.S. military at that time. The other highlights the heroic efforts of a Black soldier, George H. Pruitt, who died attempting to save fellow soldiers during the World War II. Emails obtained by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency and reviewed by Newsweek confirm that Donald Trump's anti-DEI order was the impetus for the removal. The Trump administration is erasing Black history, not just domestically, but abroad. To make matters worse, U.S. officials did not notify local Dutch authorities before removing the plaques. Dutch people, please come to the front. Y'all gonna let the Trump administration just bully you? You're just gonna let them run up in your cemetery and take whatever they want? They're stealing your plaques, okay? Stand up for your rights, okay? People in my own country are afraid to stand up to these fascists, so please, can you help us? Please help us. The Trump administration has made claims to acquire Greenland, once again treating countries like corporations that can be bought, sold, and merged as we please. The largest island in the Atlantic is a self-governing territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Last week, Stephen Miller was on CNN insisting that Greenland belongs to the United States and said that no one should be opposed to the U.S. military taking over Greenland. Oh, you don't know who Stephen Miller is? Stephen Miller is, he looks like the Monopoly guy took Ozempic. That's Stephen Miller. You know what I'm talking about. He is the little deputy chief of staff for the Trump administration. Anyways, the administration is trying to say that they need the island for Arctic security reasons. But this is the same administration that practically defunded an entire office that was created for Arctic security. Yeah, in 2022, the US military set up the Arctic and Global Resilience Policy Office and even published an Arctic strategy report in 2024. But when Trump returned to the presidency in 2025, the administration removed a bunch of personnel from this office, and they never replaced them. Those jobs, those positions are still open, vacant, and they're not doing anything with it. The decision to make territorial claims over Greenland jeopardizes the US's allyship with not just Greenland, Denmark, and the EU, but the very existence of NATO altogether, which might not be such a bad thing. I mean, maybe it's time for Greenland to be independent from the Kingdom of Denmark anyways. Are we really going to sit here and act like there were no indigenous communities on Greenland when... Some of us spent our holiday with our family, on vacation, enjoying delicious food, but the US military spent the holiday season bombing Nigeria on Christmas in order to defend Christians on the day of Jesus' birth, because Christians in that area were supposedly being attacked, so they dropped a bomb on the biggest Christian holiday to protect Christians in the area where they dropped the bomb, because Christians in that area had been attacked. So they attacked that area in order to defend Christians on the biggest Christian holiday of the year. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And for New Year's, the US invaded Venezuela. I don't know how you all found out about the invasion of Venezuela, but I actually found out from my beloved grandmother. She was up in the middle of the night watching the news. I'm like, great, what's going on? She's like, they bombed Caracas. It's like, they bombed Caracas? Yes, they invaded Venezuela, kidnapped Maduro and his wife, blindfolded them, covered their ears, told Maduro to put on this gray Nike Tech suit. I said, ooh, not the Nike Tech. She said, yeah, the Nike Tech. And now they're on their way to New York City for a little razzle-dazzle court hearing. Eventually, I want to do a deep dive into the connections between the bombings in Nigeria and the invasion of Venezuela, because they are deeply connected. And I'll give you a hint. It's about oil, but it's also about money, currency, and the BRICS alliance that is currently growing around the world. And this group is committed to changing the current world order. But before we get into that, let's go over how world leaders, presidents, prime ministers reacted to Donald Trump's and the US invasion of Venezuela.